Hello friends, KitaDollx here. I want to start things off today by saying thank you all so much for 1,000 subscribers. I'm not the only one that's working really hard on these videos, and it really means a lot to all of us to hit this huge milestone. I'm really excited to see what the future brings, from more Stardew math to Let's Plays to breakdowns of other games worth talking about. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. All right, time to shove the scientists back in their cages. Let's go! Bats or mushrooms? The age-old question. In Stardew Valley, you'll eventually be given this choice, but will you know what to choose when the time comes? I've always had my reasons, but I wonder, especially with the changes from the 1.6 update, did I make the best choice? I've asked the team of scientists for a little bit of help with the numbers to see if we can find out whether there's a clear winner. If you find this video interesting, please like and subscribe for more like this in the future, and let me know if there are other topics that you'd like to see us break down as well. With that being said, let's get into it. When you first arrive at your farm in Stardew Valley, you may notice a small cave on the north side. Initially, it's empty, but after you've made your first 25,000 gold, Demetrius will pay you a visit and offer to turn your little farm cave into a bat habitat or an ecosystem for fungus. This can seem out of the blue, and you might not really be sure what it all means. Let's start with some basics. If you choose fruit bats, bats will move into your cave and have a chance to bring an assortment of random fruit, which you can forage from the cave floor. No worry, these aren't like cave bats in the mine. They are harmless, and you won't see much of them other than their little red eyes poking through the darkness. Alternatively, if you choose mushrooms, Demetrius will set up 6 mushroom boxes, which will each produce 1 mushroom from the original 5 varieties every other day. It seems like both of these are good options, right? Well, let's take a look at some of the numbers and perks for each of them. Let's talk fruit bats. After choosing the fruit bat cave, there will be a chance each morning for 0 to 3 fruits to spawn on the cave floor. Without getting too deep into the math, you can expect an average of 1.06 fruits per day if you regularly check in to pick them up. One of the advantages of the fruit bat cave is that you don't actually have to pick them up every day. They will continue to accumulate until the cave fills up, but keep in mind that the odds of fruit spawning are tied to numbers of open tiles in the cave, so your average fruit per day will gradually drop down to 0 if you don't pick them up. Here's a list of the fruits that can be generated and their approximate probability and contribution to average gold per day. These are considered forageable items, so professions like gatherer will increase your yield by about 20%, and botanist will affect quality. In addition, you can learn a power called Bear's Knowledge, which will further increase the price that you can get from blackberries and salmon berries. If you have all of these, you can make up to 183 gold per day on average just by selling everything outright. Moving on to the mushroom cave. As of update 1.6, the mushroom cave produces mushrooms every 2 days from 6 mushroom boxes. Unlike the fruit bat cave, you have to harvest these every other day or new mushrooms will not be generated. Mushrooms are still considered forageable items, but because the mushrooms grow in special boxes, professions like gatherer and botanist do not affect the outputs, and all mushrooms harvested will be normal quality. Here are the proportions of mushrooms that you can expect, along with their contribution to daily gold output, again, if you're just selling everything. The mushrooms are a little bit simpler, and on average, you're looking at just over 200 gold per day. We haven't done the math on optimized processing gold per day, but if you go that route, I would expect the mushroom cave to widen its lead even more, since there are no quality gains to be lost in processing. Okay, so by the numbers, mushrooms are in the lead, even without the profession helping them at all. If we take a look at what you can expect for foraging experience, mushrooms take that as well. Each fruit harvested has a baseline 7 foraging experience, while each mushroom gives you 5. As long as you keep up on your harvest, the volume of mushrooms will win out with 15 experience per day on average. So what are the other perks we should consider? In Update 1.6, a piece of artisan processing equipment called the dehydrator was added to the game. If we choose the mushroom cave, we get one for free. This could be a big deal. Otherwise, the recipe to craft the dehydrator costs 10,000 gold. Given the throughput, one dehydrator is probably going to be plenty of capacity for you for quite a while, and by the time you need more, 10,000 gold might not seem like so much. Common mushrooms can be used with the seed maker to get fall seeds, While the tea sapling isn't the moneymaker it used to be, the fall seeds you make can be used to make them. And it can be an option for making some extra cash if you've gotten the recipe from Caroline. Other typical uses for the mushroom are food for health and energy when mining, farming, fishing, or foraging. I generally prefer them on their own, but mushrooms can be combined in the life elixir for difficult combat situations where health is more important than energy. While the fruit bat cave is losing by the numbers so far, there are some valuable perks. Mushrooms are generally not very good gifts to villagers, but fruits are often generally liked. You probably aren't going to win over the whole town with 1.06 fruits per day, but the fact that you can get higher quality, especially with the botanist profession, gives the fruit bat cave somewhat of a regular supply of effective gifts. The other advantage comes in the form of potentially finishing some bundles in the community center faster. Fruits are used in several bundles, including the Enchanter's Bundle, the Fodder Bundle, the Artisan Bundle, and each of the seasonal foraging bundles. The Bat Cave can provide fruits for the bundles that are either out of season or from fruit trees that might be a little too expensive to justify early on. The fruits will be a little RNG based, but with some luck, you may be able to avoid buying any fruit tree saplings at all. Another question is, how replaceable are the outputs of each cave? To get one of each fruit tree from the general store, it would cost 25,400 gold, and you'd have to grow each sapling for 28 days before they reach maturity. If planted outdoors on the farm, they can only produce for one season each year, so it may be a really long time until you see the fruits of your labor. Meanwhile, the mushroom from the cave are incredibly easy to reproduce by setting up mushroom logs. They're craftable at level 4 foraging and require only 10 hardwood and 10 moss each. With the right setup, 2 to 3 of these will outproduce the mushroom cave, and you can be getting a higher quality of mushrooms too. Definitely check out my mushroom log videos if you'd like to learn more. By the end of summer in your first year, it shouldn't be too hard to get a bunch of mushroom logs going, assuming that you've been collecting hardwood regularly. It turns out that there's another mushroom cave on Ginger Island as well. It's kind of late in game, but at that point, the farm mushroom cave becomes a little more redundant. At some point, the money earned from the cave, regardless of which route you chose, will be a drop in the bucket of your daily farm profits. When that happens, I tend to appreciate the fruit bat cave even more. It can be largely ignored except for a bigger collection day every few weeks, whereas the mushrooms will lose value if you don't check up on them regularly. Alternatively, if the fruit and mushrooms from the cave aren't really worth your while anymore, you can turn the cave into another storage space, processing room, or even decorate it for fun. Putting down crafted flooring prevents fruit from spawning on the spaces, so you won't have to worry about cleaning it up all the time. At that point, you can turn the cave into whatever you want. The mushroom boxes, on the other hand, are not removable, so you'll be stuck working around them if you plan to do anything else with that space. Based on all of this, I'd say that the mushroom cave will probably perform the best early on with better profits and more food output, but the fruit cave will start to win out as you make progress on the community center and work on building friendships with the other villagers. Late in game, neither cave will make a big difference, so I'd say Fruit Bat wins out for being less demanding with harvesting consistency and more flexible for complete cave remodel. The free dehydrator is nice, but by the time you need that much throughput, you probably want more than just one, and you can probably afford the 10,000 gold for that recipe. In the end, I'm sticking with my little fruit bat friends, but I can't fault anyone for going with mushrooms. As always, I want to know what you guys think. Do you like fruit bats or mushroom boxes for your cave? I'd love to hear in the comments if I missed anything about the farm cave that might change my mind. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new, please give it a like and subscribe, or come say hello to me on Twitch. Until next time, goodbye! Mushrooms are generally not very good gifts for villagers. Not very good gifts.